Hi, it's Christy with the Scrap-alicious applique channel. This tutorial is how to make a continuous thread and needle holder, which I just fell in love with the antique ones and thought, well, why don't I do a modern update on them? So they're really cool. You can use all kinds of ribbon and elastic that you like to use, but when you open them up, there is like a very large spool of thread, and then you preload your needles and pre-thread them. So when you're working on an applique project or a Hawaiian quilting project where you're using the same thread over and over, you can just pull a needle and how much thread you want, and off you go, and the other ones will be all loaded. I mean, you could put 10 or 20 in here if you want. I'm going to turn my camera down, and I'm going to show you some other fun examples before we get started on the tutorial. Okay, so there's that fun one. I find that if you put your hand right here and then pull the thread from there, it pulls much easier rather than trying to pull from here. Then you can pull through the needles like that. Anyway, this one I did with Tulip Ink, and I just love it. I made that one for me. And another idea I did was I used elastic, which I really like because you just, when you're finished, you just put it on there and you're good to go without having to fussy budget and tie your ribbon. This is just a 1/2-inch elastic. You can get it in all kinds of colors on Amazon. But on this one inside, I did this one with fabric on the inside and the outside. This one I used a heavy felt and fabric. But this one was one of the first ones I made where I did fabric and then I inset a little square and used embroidery thread and big stitches to hold down the little pad. So you can do that also. I find that with the fabric, the thread will slide easier, but it slides okay in the other one too. It's just your choice, a lot of options. This was another one I did with fabric with a little pad. Let's see, there's a coffee one with, instead of doing the double yo-yo, I just did a button on there. And this one, I love the little button material. And that one I did with fabric and a pad. And the fabric ones don't hold their shape quite as well. But that's okay. I mean, once you get the thread in there, that holds the shape for it. So do whatever works best for you. Try out and see. Here's one where I did using up my scraps, where you just lay down your scraps on your piece of batting and you make the top, and it's a good way to use up your scraps, and they're so darn cute. Trying to come up with ideas to use for the yo-yos on the end. And you also can have fun with the buttons. Here I have some little blue pony beads. This one I have some little metal flowers. Let's see what else. Here's another scrappy one where I did some star beads on there. And another scrappy one with some little leaf beads. So yeah, here's one with some star beads. And I can't remember if I did felt. This is also another fabric one. And this one I did some brightly colored scraps out of my scrap bin, using up all my tulas and some more leaf. Anyway, they're just a lot of fun and so cute. Another scrap that I haven't sewed the end pieces onto yet or put any beads on it yet. So a lot of fun to do that. So let's get into the project. Let me get this pile of things out of my way. So my video has I don't know if that's upside down for you or upside down for me, but that has the written pattern and the templates, and you can download those by, underneath the video, you will see the little, where the video title is under the video, you'll see in brackets the word more, M-O-R-E. So touch that word more, and it will open up a window to the right of the video if you don't have your video expanded. And it will bring out a description window, and it only shows part of the description window. So you have to hit the word more again, that's in brackets, to expand that information part of it. And it will show you the download that you can go to print this out. Okay, let's get started. First, you cut out all the pieces that you saw on here. So you'll have a body and a back and a piece of batting, and then you'll have two, and one. So you'll have, these are the two small yo-yos. These are the two large yo-yos. And then you'll have got a pen running around there. Then you'll have your piece of felt or fabric, whatever you desire on the inside. And then you'll have your piece of batting and your piece of top fabric. And there's also, in the pattern, you can do this 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch little piece of felt that you can put on the inside of the fabric if you're not using felt for the entire piece. So that's all the pieces that you need. And you also need 2 circles of the template plastic. And that's all described in the video, because this will be left inside of this one when you draw these pieces up. You'll see later. Okay, so that's the first step. Then the second step is if you're using fabric with this, you put it about 1 inch from the end, and then I like to use 3 strands of embroidery thread in some fun color to sew it down. So that's what you do there for the alternate inside, if you're not using the total felt piece on the inside. Then you'll get to an alternate top I told you about, was taking your piece of batting, laying a piece of fabric down. So you lay a piece of fabric down, then you take this piece of fabric and lay it this way, do your 1/4 inch seam, fold it over, iron it, take your next piece, sew the seam, fold it over and iron it, do the next piece and such. And it doesn't matter what pieces you have, you can crazy quilt it however you like, get creative. And you can even add little appliques and beads and whatever you want to do. Just have fun with it. This was just a little sample I had put so you could kind of get an idea how this went. So you lay it down, and then you take the next piece, do a 1/4 inch, press it, and you continue on down. And this one covers the end. I want that little squirrel to show. So anyway, have fun with that. After you get your top how you want it and your inside how you want it, then you're going to take your piece of inside lining piece. I'm using felt for this particular one that I'm working on. And you pin your ribbon so that, and this is important, so this is the rounded end. You pin your folded end of the ribbon here, lay it down, and then pin the open end here, because you're going to use this to turn your piece. Then you lay your batting down, and then you, excuse me, you take your lining and lay it face down. And then you have your batting. And then I'm going to fold over the fabric and batting a 1/4 inch. And your felt will stick out a 1/4 inch. but you'll just trim that off. But if you're using fabric, then you're going to fold it under. So that's what it'll look like when you get ready to sew the 1/4 inch around the edges. On this one, can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I was just showing you how that will stick out. And you don't want to fold that felt because it just gets too bulky there. So I've discovered if I just trim that felt off. But if I'm using fabric on the inside, then I do fold that fabric like that. Okay. Then after you get it sewn, you sew the 1/4 inch, and then I kind of trim it a little bit, and I kind of clip these a little bit without getting into my seam thread. And then you're ready to pull it. So just turn it this way and just get it down as much as you can. You have to kind of wrestle with it and get that to come through. I don't be too hard on my pulling on the felt piece because that can stretch it. But there you've got it out. I don't have any tools with me here right now, but I take, you know, some soft piece of wood or plastic to push out all these edges and get it nice and flat. And then I iron I don't iron the felt because I don't want it to melt. So I just lightly press down with an iron on these edges. And this one here, I didn't have it, but these are supposed to be turned under. I didn't do it on that one. But after you get that, then you'll do your top stitching on the top. Thought I had a sample here to do the top stitching. Must be over here. Here it is. So here I had left the felt trimmed. I didn't turn the felt under. Here I've turned the fabric under. So I did a very narrow, like 1/8 inch on this one rather than a 1/4 inch all the way around. And that finishes it quite nicely. So there you are with your piece ready to go for the next step. So the next step is making your yo-yos. Let me pull my samples out here. So you have your piece of plastic that you cut out, and you're going to, this one's not attached, but take that 505 spray, spray a little bit on the piece of plastic, lay it down on your yo-yo, the large one, and do a big stitch around the edge, about 1/8 of an inch around. And this one I have ready to go because I didn't think you wanted to watch me stitch the whole thing. And then when you pull it, you just have to keep working it without breaking your thread until it gets completely down. Then I tie a knot here, and then I push my needle through to this side and tie a knot here, because that'll get covered up. Well, this side will get covered up, excuse me. This side will hide on the inside of your holder. So that's how you do those. I take a little bit of not 505, a little bit of that Dritz fray check, and I put it around the edges just to make that knot unravel. And you do the same. Here was just another example that I did of 2 that were finished. I don't have an example of the 2 small yo-yos, but with the small yo-yos, you don't use any plastic in them. I think I did that wrong in my directions, but there's no plastic inside the small yo-yos. You're just going to make 2 small yo-yos, put them on top, and then you're going to embellish them with a button. So there's an example of the small one. This small one here doesn't have any plastic in it. So that's how you get that going. And then it comes time for Oh, this was just showing an example of how I did, rather than do the top stitch with the machine, I played around and did a top stitch with a 3-strand embroidery thread, which it came out pretty cute. This is that Tulip ink, and it's pretty cute. So when you get ready, this was just, okay, I was going to show how to sew this, but I don't have any thread loaded. I simply start and attach a piece. Let's see, I'm right-handed, so how did I do this? I sew it to the fabric. There's how I did it. So I'm right-handed. So I take a knot and just take the very end right here, right there on the end. I just take a little bit of a bite, and then I take a little bit of a bite of that, because this is going to be turning like this to be your outside. And then I just slowly, after I come up, then I come down and take another little bite. And you just slowly keep going around as you sew that down. You just keep going and going, and it ends up looking like this. As you come around, you slowly come around, and you're going to stop about 4 inches from the end to here. It's about 4 inches. And I have to gauge. I find that for some reason, based on whether you're using felt or whatever, or what size of needle thread thing you're going to put in there. Some are smaller, some are bigger. So I put the one that I want to use in there. And then I can tell if I can still get it in the hole right here. So I just gauge that. When I get it sewn all the way down, then I do a knot. And then you flip it inside out, and you end up with this adorable little holder. So the felt really gives it a lot more body. I really like it. I find that it doesn't slide as well, the thread on the felt, but if you have where the thread comes out down here rather than up here, if you just put your finger there and pull, it will pull. But you can't pull the thread through the needles, because then this pulls out. You have to pull a piece of thread from the bottom and then slowly put it through your needles. So you can play around with it and see what you like to do. So that's how you make them, and they're just so much fun. And what do I have over here? Oh, here I'm going to do a little squirrel. I'm going to turn under the edges and applique him on just for fun. But that's how you make those, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it. And leave me some comments. Bye.